Hello Year 12 and welcome to our first video here for graphing tables of values. This is our sixth topic, I think. Now, we have previously looked at linear functions, that's straight lines, and now we want to look at curved lines called non-linear functions. We're still going to stick with x and y's mostly. In a table of values, x would be in the top row, y would be on the bottom. That makes x the independent variable and y depends on x. It makes it the dependent variable. Dependence down the bottom, independent up the top. We're going to jump straight in here to an example. Here we go. Isabel shoots a ball, records the height and time. The height would seem to be dependent on the time. That makes time independent and height dependent. Time, the independent variable, goes on the horizontal axis. So we're going to try graphing this. Now I need to go from 0 to 2.5 in half increments. So I need to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across. So if that's a 0, half, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. There we go, it works pretty nicely. 1, 2, I'm not going to mark the halves. 3, and I'm going to call this time, because it's important to label our axes. Whoa, screen's just gone funny. Time in seconds. Now the height needs to go, well, I don't have a 0 here, but I don't think I'm going to truncate it. I think I'm going to push it up to 4. So I think if we make this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, it all fits reasonably well. And I'm going to call this one, if it'll fit, height meters. I don't think that fits on the screen, but you should be able to see it in your notes. So there we go. I suppose. Ideally, you'd trace over these with a pencil and a ruler. Yep. An eraser means that if you make a mistake, you can fairly neatly fix it up. If you do it in pen, you're going to have a mess. So there we go. There's our two axes. Remember, our horizontal axis across the bottom is our independent variable, which is in the top of our table of values. I'll zoom out just a tiny bit there and you can see a little bit more. Now we're going to plot these points. They're not going to form a straight line, I don't think. So at time equals 0, my height equals 2.4. It's 2, that's 2.5. The 2.4 is about here. Don't worry if your dots are fairly large. At half, we're at 3.3. So half, 3, 3.5, about there, 3.3. 1 and 3.7. 1, 3.5, 3.7. Right, a little less than halfway up that square. 1.5 and 4. Right on the mark. That makes life easy. 4. Okay, 2 and 3.6. It's going to be slightly lower than the previous one there. Above the line, but lower than that one. That's 3.6 there. It's good. And 2.5, 2.8. Here's 2.5. And 2.8 is about there. So you can see those points there. They haven't formed a straight line at all. Now, I need to put a curve through them. And doing that neatly can present some challenges to us. All right, try to get through all the dots smoothly. Okay, but you can see a curve there, and I suppose that could trace out the path of that basketball. Rightio, so that is using a table of values to draw a graph. We might need to, in this exercise, complete a table of values following some sort of a rule, and that rule might be a little bit more complicated. That's the plan. Some things to watch out for here. Choose the scale of your axes appropriately. Right? Not too big, not too small, so it fits in there. I think a graph that's about the same size as the palm of your hand, right, about the size of the palm of your hand, is pretty good for a graph like this. Okay, label your axes, use a ruler, measure things out very carefully, use a pencil and an eraser you can use to correct any small mistakes, so your graphs look pretty good. Okay, well that should do it. I hope that points you in the right direction. If you've got any questions, please ask your teacher or send me a message. Thanks very much.